Mal, and welcome back to the Doll Mall podcast. Today we have such a fun episode. I am so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm laughing because it's such a good episode. So today I have on one of my bestest, amazingest, awesomeness AG friend, good friend of mine, Kassi. She is at AGKristen09 on Instagram, and she does a little bit of YouTube as well. We're going to talk about today how Kassi got into American Girl dolls, which is super duper, spoiler alert, it's a good story. Then we talk about how she got into AGIG, AG YouTube, and then we talked about how me and Kassi met, but my microphone cut out and only got that we recorded how she got into dolls and how she got into the AGIG world and how we met all in the same audio file. So like kind of editing skills that we're in recording skills that we're talking about here. Okay, my microphone cut out on that file, on that audio recording, and only got the first like 2 minutes of it. And so it didn't get any of how we met, which I was really sad because how we met was such a cute little story, and I don't feel right telling it to you all without Kassi on. Next time when she comes on to the Doll Mom podcast, we will share that. Going back to what we're going to talk about in the episode, we're talking about the latest American Girl releases, and we're talking about something that I am so excited about. Oh my goodness. We're going to be talking about American Girl conspiracy theories. Now, if you're like Mal, what the heck? This is a doll brand. There's not going to be any conspiracy theories happening with a doll brand. Oh, girl, this is going to be the episode for you. But I think you all are really going to enjoy that segment of the episode. And I honestly think you're going to enjoy the whole episode of the Doll Mom podcast today. At least I hope so. So I feel like without further ado, let's get started. Kassi, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Kassi. I am also known as AGKristen09. And I first got into American Girl dolls when I was on a family trip to the Mall of America. We saw the American Girl store, and my mom was like, oh, this looks cool. So we went in and we walked around, and we were kind of like, what is the deal with all these dolls? Like, they're pretty, but why are they so expensive? Like, what's up with them? And we saw that they all had books. So we went to our local library when we got back home. And my mom was like, oh, pick out one of these books and I'll read it to you. She wanted to figure out what it was all about. So I was like, Christian starts with a K like Kassi, so I'll pick her. And my mom and I read all those books that summer. And then we found out that Kirsten was retiring and like she was the doll that I would want if I were to ever get one. So I ended up getting her from Santa for Christmas that year, and the rest is kind of just history. After you have one, I mean, you can't just have one American Girl doll. Then it was like, well, she needs a friend. So the next summer I got Kit, and then it just kind of kept going after that.
Yes, you can never just have one. You always have to have a whole family. They're kind of addicting like that. So how did you get into American Girl Instagram, AGIG/AGTube? Because I know you had a doll YouTube before you were on Instagram.
Yes. I started my doll YouTube for school projects initially, I think. I think my first video that I actually posted was one that I made a stop motion for one of my high school classes, and I was like, oh, this is cool, I'll put it on YouTube. And so that's kind of how I got into that, and I would just like kind of post videos here and there. I haven't posted one in a while. It's just kind of like whenever I have time to make a stop motion, which is not very often because I mean I'm busy and they take a while to make. But I enjoy making them, so if I ever make one and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, then I'll just kind of post it on occasion. And then the reason why I got into Instagram was you, Al, encouraged me to get on A-Gig, so.
I remember. I think I was like texting you. I think I texted you multiple times. I was like, you need to be on Instagram. The world needs you, Kassi. I feel like September and October and kind of August combined was the 3 biggest months of American Girl coming out with products. They had so many products releases, and we're going to talk about that today in this segment of the Doll Mall podcast. We had Claudie's release. We had the collaboration. We had so many collaborations happening. Oh my goodness. We had the collaborations with Kids Craft. I think that's what they're called. The dollhouse in the closet. And then we had the Sapphire Spender doll. And then we had the Christmas release with Janie and Jack. And then we had the new American Girl not the new American Girl rebrand, the Truly Me relaunch with 25 new Truly Me dolls. And then we had American Girl sets in Costco. Yeah, big month for AG. Big month for sure. So, do you want to talk about the Truly Me relaunch first?
Yeah, I feel like we need to talk about the fact that there were so many new dolls released this month. Like, American Girl has had pretty big releases this time of year as far as, like, furniture and clothes go for the last quite a few years. But they totally relaunched the entire Truly Me line. They have, like, quit producing all of the older Truly Me dolls and started a new startup with 25 new dolls. Some of them are revamps of the older Truly Me's and some of them are brand new dolls. But they all come in, like, different outfits. There's, like, 6 different outfits that the different ones can come in. And I just really liked there's a huge variety of different hair colors, different face molds, like, just all these different features used.
I love how we had a return of some face molds, too, like the Marie Grace. Karen is in it, too. Nenea. Like, I really think that this is a step. One of the steps, I feel like American Girl has been making multiple steps to, like, their promise to diversity and coming out with more diverse products. I feel like this is another step in that direction with all the new dolls. And I even saw some Instagram posts of how collectors were even posting, like, oh my goodness, American Girls finally made a doll that looked like me. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, that's so exciting to not only for them to be represented, but all of these other people to be finally represented at American Girl. I just think it's so super duper awesome. And with the outfits, I love the outfits. I love how you can, like, mix them and, like, you can also purchase them separately along with the accessories. Overall, I really think this Truly Me job, Truly Me revamp is a step in, like, a good direction for American Girl. Am I sad that they retired all of the others? Yeah, I am. I'm not gonna lie. Because, like, that was, like, because those dolls that they still had, especially for, like, the 60s number and, like, kind of the earlier numbers, they were a part of my childhood, and I kind of hate to see them go.
Yeah, some of the ones that retired, I'm definitely sad about, but I'm like, you know, in some ways it is nice that, like, a new era can begin, and, like, these are the dolls that now the next generation of girls are going to grow up with, and so, like, I also think it's cool that when they revamped the Truly Me line, it's about, what I think anyway, is they kind of are more marketing it towards picking a doll that matches your personality, rather than picking a doll that looks exactly like you. And I think that's good for a couple different reasons. For one, I really like that it's like the different outfits are like tap into your creative side or tap into your sporty side and different things like that. And the little book that comes with them, by the way, is so cute now. It's a little journal that like says like it just like get to know your doll. So like you write down stuff about you and then you write down stuff about your doll and then like there's all these like friendship activities to do like with your doll that are really cute. And I think that's fun because if you get multiple Truly Me dolls, you can fill it out for the different dolls. You don't just keep getting the same book over and over again.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I feel like now the Create Your Own line has more of a point. When they tried to like market the Truly Me dolls to be like exactly like you, but then they were also trying to market the Create Your Own dolls to like make a doll that looks exactly like you. And I was like, that's a little silly. Now, if a girl wants a doll that looks exactly like them, I mean, like, a lot of little girls don't necessarily have, like, the colorful hair and stuff, so there might be one that looks like them in the Truly Me line, but there's a good chance that there won't be. So if they want one that looks exactly like them, there's the Create Your Own option. But if they want one that matches their, like, artistic vibe and they really like the color purple and want to get one with purple hair, then, like, that they can get that doll. And I feel like a lot of the new dolls are just, like, what a lot of us collectors have been wanting. Like, I know personally, I always wanted a Nenea custom with, like, a blue and purple wig. And so now there's a doll that has the Nenea face mold and a lighter skin tone and then the blue and purple wig. So it's very similar to a custom that I wanted, but it's also like unique. And so I really like it.
I love the fun, colorful wigs too. Like, I have always wanted to dye my hair ever since I was young, but my mother would never let me. She's like, no, that's gonna damage your hair. And I'm like, but mom, it's pretty, you know? And so I feel like I lived through myself wanting to like dye my hair with all these crazy colors through my dolls.
And I feel like there's a lot of other kids that can relate to that, and so that's what's cool about these dolls.
Yeah. They don't just tie down to one specific person or one specific thing. They could be like kind of for everyone, and it kind of gives the create your own a purpose too, like you mentioned. What I wonder, which could be a conspiracy theory, which we're gonna get into later. Okay, really excited about that. Will the create your own line expand their face molds to have the return of these new face molds like the Marie Grays? I think Nenea's, no, I don't think Nenea's in it. Nenea and Karen, you never know. You never know. So, I don't know.
I very much hope so. I'm a huge fan of the Marie Grace mold personally, and, you know, for those of our listeners that don't know this, the Marie Grace mold was only, prior to these new Truly Me dolls releasing, it was only ever used on Marie Grace, which was an old historical character who I think came out in like 2011.
Yeah.
For like a few years because she retired before the Forever launched in 2014. So it's a very exciting comeback for those of you that have more recently gotten into American Girl and don't know about Marie.
Yeah. I also wonder if we're going to be maybe seeing the return of the number 4 face mold too. Because I feel like, okay, American Girl's vibe lately is bringing back things. They brought back Molly. Now they're bringing back Marie Grace's face mold. They're also like bringing out, you know, some newer face molds too. But will number 4 be on the table? Like, I really hope so, because she was, like I said, just like Marie Grace, she was only made for a couple of years and then she retired. So I think
much longer ago.
Yeah, much longer ago. Her mold was like, she came out in 1995, and then I think she retired in 2011 or 2010 or something. I will say, though, they did bring her head back for the doll hospital, so that might be a clue.
That they might re-release her.
Maybe. Let's hope. All we do is hope, because I would love to see number 4 back. Should we talk about the holiday release now?
Oh, yes. Okay, so along with the 25 Truly Me dolls, we actually had 27 new dolls released, because we had our Sapphire Splendor, or as I like to call her, the Peacock Princess.
Yes.
Our holiday doll, and then we also had Claudie, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll start with the holiday doll, and then the rest of the
Yeah, the holiday doll is super duper gorgeous. Absolutely love her. I love how they like kind of flipped the script a little bit, because kind of prior to this they had pinks and purple, but like here they kind of just went a different direction with like the blues. Like they added like a whole different color scheme. And I also loved, okay, this is one of my favorite things, I think, a part of her. On her certificate of authenticity, or whatever it's called, certificate, whatever, on the back, it kind of tells you about the designer who designed her and like design inspiration, which I'm someone who loves to see the behind the scenes of American Girl. I would love to get a tour of the headquarters. Like I live for the behind the scenes content. Yeah, we both need to go and see the headquarters. American Girl, if you really like us in this podcast episode, if you're listening, invite us to the headquarters. Yeah, be great. We'd love it. Yeah, I really live for the behind the scenes content, and so we kind of got that with the holiday doll. So I really loved that, and maybe they'll still do that with next year's, or maybe we'll get more behind the scenes content, because maybe this is a step in the direction for behind the scenes content. You never know.
And another thing that I really like about the holiday doll, other than the fact that she's an enamel, because I'm a huge fan of those enamels. I love that she's an enamel. But I also really like the fact that she has those light purple eyes, because they're totally unique. No other doll has had purple eyes before. I mean, other than like customs and stuff. But American Girl has never made a doll with purple eyes before, and she's got like these lavender eyes that just like dazzle.
Yeah, I really liked how they did something different too, because of that. Like, they did so many different things with her, and I'm glad that they included that too with her, because it makes her more special and more unique, and maybe we'll see those eyes maybe in a new Truly Me doll, or maybe they'll get added to Create Your Own, or maybe they'll come out with like a whole different something else with the eyes. But no, I really love her eyes too. I think that they're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see more eye colors added along more face molds, and even like more hairstyles, maybe more hair colors. I mean, I would like more hairstyles and hair colors, but I know that's kind of harder to do because they have to make each of the wigs in each of the colors, and so like if you get too excessive with styles or colors, then like it'd be a lot of work for them. But I also feel like now, since there's not like there's a no return policy on Create Your Own, and so it's not like they have to like be able to like mass produce as much. Like they can kind of make them individually, and then like you gotta keep them.
There was something I was gonna add too, but I completely blanked out. Oh, I got it. Okay, I feel like with asking for more eye colors and hair, I feel like that's so. Okay, I feel like that's kind of a little bit unrated or something, like a little bit like it's not talked about. Because I feel like when someone's like preaching about more like diversity, we're always about like the skin and like the face mold, but it's never about the hair, it's never about the eyes. So I feel like maybe they're starting to go a different way with that too, and maybe for the best, you know?
Because there's like a lot of different colors of hair and a lot of different like hair and eye color combinations. Like I know that my hair is kind of like a dirty blonde, like it's kind of in between. It was never like a super light blonde as a kid, but it wasn't like as dark as like the caramel hair dolls. So like none of this, even though like, you know, I'm a blonde hair, blue eyes girl, I'm one to talk, but I'm just saying like even among blonde hair, blue eyes, there's a lot of different variations, and if we can see more of that in the Create Your Own, so that way like girls can get it all to look exactly like them. Like I know if there would have been like a kind of like dirty blonde color kind of in between more when I was a kid, and like, you know, different types of eyes, like, you know, greenish bluish that's more like mine, then I would have definitely wanted to get a Create Your Own that looked like me as a child. So
Yeah. Something that I would have loved American Girl to come out with as a kid, which they just came out with, is the dollhouse.
yes.
Oh my goodness. I love that thing. I'm dying to see it. I'm dying to see it in person. Anyways, so yeah, love the dollhouse. Very cool collaboration happening on the table with that. Maybe we'll get something else. Maybe they'll come out with like, well, they kind of came out with doll furniture for it, like the new couch and the TV set, but maybe we'll get something else too. You never know.
And that's what I'm most eager for, is to see what furniture fits in it and how.
Yeah.
Doll furniture, and I just kind of like have this whole closet of doll furniture, and I just kind of like rotate out. Like I have some scenes that are always set up, like Kira's tent, it's pretty big, it's pretty cool, like it's always out, but then some of the smaller accessories I'll kind of rotate out, like what's in the closet or like what is like displayed and have like different sets going. And so I have just, you know, a lot of furniture, and I'm excited to just take a lot of that over to my grandma's and like see what fits and play with different arrangements of the house.
Yes.
I love room designing. I think it's so fun.
Another thing that happened in September was Claudia's release. Oh my goodness, the first historical character to come out since 2020. So very exciting for her.
I really like Claudia. If you have not read her books yet, y'all should, because her one book is so good, and I cannot wait for there to be more books because I loved it. Her story is so neat. I love how her whole first book is kind of just about like finding your passion and experimenting with what you're good at, and it just makes me think about me as a kid, and I know that there's a lot of kids that are in like the target age range for that story that will really relate to her a lot. So I just think she's a really enjoyable and wholesome character.
Now we're going to get into something that I'm really excited about. And Cassie's the perfect person to talk about this, because this is basically what we do when we text one another. Like, we go on and on about different things. We're going to be talking about American... Yes. Maybe in the future, if it does really well, we could maybe have a full episode about this instead of like a little section, but you know, whatever. We're going to be talking about American Girl conspiracy theories. If you're kind of confused over what conspiracy theories could even happen in a doll company, this is a perfect section for you. Okay, Kassi, do you want to start us off with the one that you thought of?
Okay, so this is my theory, along the lines that we were talking about the American Girl experience and how important it is. So, what I thought would
Okay, I was curious about this too. I don't know if you noticed, but the pattern for the ones that have closed, I mean, this isn't the case for all of them, but for most of them, they closed after 10 years. I think that's like the standard lease. I know for some of the stories they gotten out of, like St. Louis, I always heard why they closed is because the mall was foreclosed. Miami was the recent ones to close. They opened in 2012, so obviously Houston also opened in 2012. So, but that's still open, and I don't. Going back to your original question, I hate to say this, I love them all, but this is coming from like going to them and like kind of seeing the environment. I think so. I think San Francisco is going to be the next one to close. But the reason I think that one's going to close because one, it's coming up on its 10-year lease, and two, the area that it's in, it wasn't popular as some of the other malls that were around San Francisco. So yeah, the mall was kind of dead. And that's what I've kind of noticed with a couple of the ones that have closed that I have been to is that I never been to some of these stores when they opened. So 10 years from now, that could have been the busiest mall. That could have been the mall to go to during that time. So I think that's also something that you have to take account into, not only with the American Girl stores, like, but like just putting in like a retail shop in general. Like, oh, 10 years from now when we're signing this lease, is this going to be is the mall even going to be around? Is this going to be a thing? So with this conspiracy, I don't want people, or with our theory, I don't want people to think that I'm hating on San Francisco or another store, or Cassie's hating on a store or anything like that, or American Girl. We don't want to come across as that. I apologize if it is coming across as that to you. We're not. We love American Girl. We love the stores. We hope none of the stores close, personally, because we love the experience and we love what the experience has to offer too, all the memories that comes with it. I don't know. I think it's really interesting to talk about the stores. I'm really glad you thought about that because that was really interesting. We're going to talk about the American Girl 2021 holiday special. So last year, Mattel does this big presentation to investors, kind of telling what's coming up in the year and different things like that. So for 2021, they revealed that a holiday special for the holidays of 2021, keyword 2021, was going to happen for American Girl. Obviously, year ended, we never got anything. So my question is, do you think it was Corinne's and they just messed up and announced it a year early? Because Corinne is giving a movie and it's like on TV or whatever in December of 2022. So do you think they accidentally revealed it a year early, or do you think it was something entirely else and they just canceled it, or maybe it didn't work out so then it got pulled?
So here's my first thought on that. Didn't it specifically say holiday of 2021, not December of 2021?
Yeah.
I think that's what they said
Yeah.
in the original presentation. So if that's the case, maybe it was intended to be a Corinne movie all along. It was going to release like in the holiday time to hype up Corinne, who was coming out in January.
Ooh.
Like it may have released after Christmas or all the way in January. So it may have been intended to be a Corinne movie from the get-go, and then for whatever reason they didn't get production started on it enough, and now it's coming out in the Christmas season of Corinne's year, which works too, but like, and it wouldn't work if they retired Girl of the Years right after the year. But yeah, it seems kind of crazy to hype Corinne up, I guess, when it's like her year's almost over.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was originally intended to hype her up before her year started, but it's not like it's not gonna work though.
Yeah, I also kind of thought the timing was off too. Perfect for Corinne's collection though, because it's winter themed, but once again, kind of towards the end of the year.
You know what? I'm going to jump to the Girl of the Year 2008 one. This is an old one, but this is one that's always intrigued me. So, for those of you that have not seen the Mia prototype, look it up. She was originally going to be, one of the prototypes for her was this dark-skinned doll with a new face mold, and we know it was a Mia prototype because she's in an ice skating outfit. So basically, just like what we're going to talk about is why was that not like what was selected, what we think about the prototype and such.
I honestly think maybe they went with Mia because they haven't released. I mean, think about it. They didn't really have many red hair and green eye dolls with freckles. So maybe, and like, I don't even, goodness, I kind of wish we were collecting during 2008 because I don't even think they really had many dolls that even had freckles then. So maybe they wanted to introduce that and maybe, but I don't know, maybe they always were also thinking about Sonali because the rumor is about that prototype that she was like an early version of Sonali face mold, and obviously Sonali came out. She had this Sonali face mold, new face mold for her. Maybe they always had the idea of giving the Girl of the Year 2009 two best friends, and decided, hey, we're gonna release a redhead for this year. Let's pull her and make her a friend. I don't know. I feel like that's really interesting too.
I know that a lot of people like get upset when they see that prototype because they're like, well, why did they whitewash Mia if she was originally going to be a doc?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's necessarily the case or whether it was like they knew they wanted to make her unique, but they decided to go a different avenue with it and go with the red hair and freckles. And I think the reason why they may have done that is because maybe the new mold just wasn't ready. Like if you look, I mean, anytime a new mold releases, there's always going to be people that say like it looks odd. But if you look at this prototype for Mia, it just looks a little like off. It just doesn't quite look right. Like you can tell it may have been the beginnings of the Sonali mold, but it's definitely not there yet. And so maybe they decided, if we're going to represent a character from like a Middle Eastern country like that, maybe that's what they were going for all along. Because Sonali's from her family's from India, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
If we want to represent those people, then we need to like take the time and do the mold right. And so like maybe they hadn't quite figured out what that factor was to make it look the way they wanted it to look. And so they decided instead of doing that for this year's Girl of the Year, we'll hold off until next year and make this one diverse in a different way by giving her freckles and red hair.
Yeah. I think this is going to be our last conspiracy theory. I know, we can go on and on about this. This is another kind of movie theme. It's Julie's movie musical, her musical movie, if you want to say it like that. So a lot of people don't know about this. So originally, a movie musical was planned for Julie. I think it was the year she came out in 2007, but it never ended up happening. Okay, I tried to look into this, why it maybe didn't end up happening. Couldn't really find anything. Kind of just was. So my question is, why do we think it's canceled? If it did came out, do you think like others things, like maybe could we see other historical characters getting a movie musical? Or why hasn't something kind of similar maybe to this? Like maybe not even a musical, maybe just like a movie or like a series came for Julie. Like why did it totally, I don't know, get canceled?
I actually had not heard of this one before today. So I always wondered why Julie didn't get a movie because she did later, but like why she didn't get a movie then, because all the other characters that had best friend dolls at that time had movies to go with them. And so I always thought that was odd. I also think it's weird that Julie was the one they were going to make a musical out of. Like, how would that have even worked? Because Julie is very much like a tomboy basketball player. I mean, I guess they could have done like High School Musical, they the basketball kind of thing, but like that had just been done because High School Musical like just came out in 2006. So yeah, I do think it's odd that maybe Julie was going to be a different character than what she turned out to be, but I just think it's a little silly that she would be the one to get a musical.
Yeah, and like here's the thing, she obviously kind of got a movie with Amazon because American Girl has the Amazon Prime deal, but that isn't actually, it's not really Julie's movie, it's Ivy's. So like
it's more about Ivy.
Yeah. So anyways, kind of leave you with something with there on what happened to our musical.
I think this is my idea.
Okay.
That the musical may have been scrapped because the Kit movie, which was releasing in 2008 when Ruthie came out, they decided to go theatrical with it and needed all hands on deck to work on that. Because all the movies prior to that had been strict DVD releases. But the Kit movie actually did release in theaters, and
Yeah.
so maybe they were like, oh, we need all hands on deck. Rather than making a movie for Julie, like, she'll have hype enough because her and Ivy are coming out brand new.
Yeah, and Kit is actually the only doll that had a movie that got released to theaters. Because all the other ones, yeah.
The other thing about that holiday 2021 movie, wasn't it supposed to be released in theaters?
I don't know. I just think that they were, I don't know. We should have researched that. I should have done more research on that.
Or if they just said that it was, but like, I don't know if they actually said, oh, it's going to be a theatrical movie, or whether there was just rumors going around that it was going to be a theatrical movie. That is weird that Corinth is not releasing in theaters, I think, kind of.
Yeah. Anyways, it kind of gives the listeners, whoever's listening, kind of something to think about, and maybe even form your own maybe American Girl conspiracy theories, asking the question, why did this happen instead of this, you know? So anyways, something to think about and something kind of to leave you with, interesting. Guys, we have sadly reached the end of this episode. I am very, very sad. I'm really sad because this was such a really fun episode and I just love doing this with you, Kassi. I want to thank Kassi so much for coming on the Doll Mom podcast. It was so awesome having you on. I really appreciate it.
It was so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
You're gonna have to come back on to maybe talk about some more conspiracy theories, because like I said, we could go on and on about this, girl.
So yeah, and if you guys enjoyed our conspiracy theory chat, let us know, because we can definitely come on here and talk about lots more.
Yeah, and maybe even if you want us to discuss a conspiracy theory, we can talk about that as well. Anyways.
Yeah, we'll take suggestions.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, be sure to go check out Kassi out. She's at agkristen09 on Instagram and I believe on YouTube as well. So I'll link her down below so then you can go show her love and support. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Bye, everyone.
Bye.